Good morning and welcome to the CHTV Principal Show. My name is JD Arland, joined as always by our principal, Principal John Williams. Thank you so much
JD,
for joining us.
how are you doing, Ben?
February edition, doing great. How are you?
Good, real good.
Good month at Carmel High School?
60 degrees yesterday, so it's hard to be bad.
I will say.
Predicting snow today, so we'll see.
That's Indiana weather, though.
But yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
That's great. Well, we wanted to talk a little bit, last time we talked about road conditions, we talked about driving, but of course on the other end of that is parking. And a lot of CHS students have experiences with parking at Carmel High School. It's very unique in that we have the trail that everyone walks up. We had a lot of tweeted questions wondering why it is that we have the trail and how that came about first, rather than just having a school parking lot.
Well, most schools, their parking lot is their athletic parking lot. The difference between our school and most schools is that our football stadium is far away from our school. So it's not unusual if you go to North Central or Center Grove or Warren Central, any of the mixed schools, but just about any school, that the student parking is also the football stadium parking. Ours is just far away. So like any other school, we use our athletic parking for our student parking, and the trail, which is it's a long walk, there's no question. It's where the parking is.
Gotcha. Has that always been, has there always been a trail, or was there ever a time where students parked up closer to the school?
No, initially, the football stadium was where the soccer stadium is now. Murray Stadium used to be our football stadium until sometime in the late 90s they built our current football stadium. So until then, that area down there on north of Smoky Row was undeveloped. So there wasn't any parking, and of course we had a lot less students, and the parking would be done like it is now. It'd be done around Murray Stadium. So
okay.
But since we've had the football stadium built, and I think that was like 98 or 97, student parking has been down there. Now we do have some very limited student parking up around the building, but most of our parking around the building up here is reserved for staff, visitors, and students who have specific health needs or other unique situations that requires them to need to be able to park closer to school.
Gotcha. Is there ever any plan to expand the parking? I mean, we have quite a bit over by the Carmel High School football stadium, but is there ever a time where we would develop somewhere else to park for students?
There's been discussions. I mean, the truth is we have plenty of parking. I mean, it's just not in a very convenient place. So it's not about not having parking. It's about how do we get parking closer to the school. About 7 years ago, we actually, the land east of Murray Stadium.
Yes, the grassy knoll.
Right. Well, there were two of those at one point, and about 7 or 8 years ago, we actually converted one of those into a parking lot. So there's been some discussion about that last piece of land there that could possibly be made into parking. Other than that, there's really no other place to go. We've had some discussions of like parking garages and those kinds of things, but at least up until now, that's not been real feasible. Getting kids in and out of that.
Right.
And that's the other thing is that our parking, it's not a trickle in. It's everybody's in a couple of, about a half an hour everybody comes, and in about 15 minutes everybody leaves. So you have to be able to account for that too. So, the big solution to our parking is that we have these what they call yellow limousines that will come and pick you up almost at your doorstep. And
I see.
No, we do. Of course, we offer full bus service to everywhere in our district. So, and a lot of our parents drop their kids off. So there are some alternatives to parking. But I understand kids who get their license and have a car and they want to drive, and that's absolutely fine. It's just that the parking at Carmel High School is going to be down the
A
trail.
little different. Yeah, I get that. I almost talk I'm leaving a stadium. When I talk to my friends from other schools, it's like we're all sitting in the trail, and it almost seems like we're leaving a sporting event.
Yeah.
Each day. That is so right. Well, I wanted to switch gears a little bit to talk about some things going on around Carmel High School around this time of year. It's February, and that means hoops season here in Indiana.
Absolutely.
Our girls basketball team going to regionals this Friday and Saturday night, or I believe it's Saturday night.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon in Kokomo.
And then Saturday night.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. If we advance, a great season so far for both basketball programs. Carmel men's basketball also remaining in the top 10, currently sitting at 7th. Wanted to talk a little bit about basketball to get your thoughts.
Yeah, it's both of those programs are amazing programs, and every year both of those programs are right in the mix to be some of the best in the state, and this year is no exceptions. Our girls really had a tough sectional, certainly the final. I think we all knew that Hamilton Southeastern, who was ranked like 7th, and we were ranked 3rd or 4th, would have a showdown there at the end, and it was every bit as exciting and as close as people thought. And it's a real testament to our kids. When you go up to Hamilton Southeastern, they were hosting, and to pull out a victory against a team that certainly they not only want to win a sectional, they want to beat Carmel.
Yes.
And so
commonly the goal.
commonly the goal. But kids did a great job. They hung in there, hit some free throws late in the game, and sealed the victory. So our girls program, of course, our boys program is a little bit away from the sectional, but all of our winter sports, it's just an amazing. Our boys wrestling team won the sectional, and then this past Saturday won the regional, very competitive regional. I think it's 4 out of the last 5 years they've won the regionals. Our girls swim team won the sectional last week, and then this weekend they'll compete for their 31st state championship. Our boys swim team will be right behind them with their sectional. So it's always exciting as the winter sports season wraps up, and we've got really all of our programs are contenders for state titles. So a lot to be proud of and a lot to be excited about.
Well, a great segue, and I was going to promote this at the end of the show, but why not now? Next episode, we'll talk a little bit more about the girls' swim state. If, of course, I have to use the word if because we're in a broadcast setting, but when the girls' swim team takes home their 31st consecutive, we'll actually have one of the members of the swim team
That'd be
on the
great.
next show to talk a little bit about the season so
Yeah.
far, so definitely stay tuned on this YouTube page for that. But lastly, I wanted to close the show with a little bit of information on you.
Okay.
A lot of people wondered during the Super Bowl and throughout this championship season who you are a fan of, because we all see you, you got the blue and gold tie on right now. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that at the high school level, Carmel is the most important team to you.
Most important.
But at the professional level, we were all wondering, around here and some of my friends, who are you a fan of?
If I can tell you who I'm not, and that's the New England Patriots.
Good.
And I can hear the applause out
Yes, yeah. You're in the right city to
I'm
not
in the
be a
right
Patriots
city.
fan.
Of course, I'm a diehard Colts fan, and when I moved up into Indianapolis 14 years ago, that's kind of right when they started their phenomenal run. So it was fun to follow them, and they're just a good organization to follow. I think they try and do things the right way, and they try to represent our city in the right way. It's been a little bit difficult the last couple years, but still, I'm a Colts fan. I think growing up, I really in my early youth, our adulthood, I always liked the New York Yankees. Just that, it's one of the things I love about a place like Carmel. It's that rich tradition that is based upon a total commitment to excellence, and that's what the Yankees were about when I was a kid, and then when I was young, when I first started teaching, Don Mattingly, who played for the Yankees and was a Hall of Famer, he was from Evansville, and actually his brother and I went to high school together, so there was that connection there. So I've always liked the Yankees. My son-in-law is a huge Boston Red Sox fan, so
I bet those family reunions get interesting.
And I'm not strong enough for the Yankees for it to be an argument, but
Okay.
and I like the Red Sox. It was fun watching the Cubs win
Yes.
this year, and
Does that make you a Knicks fan, a Celtics fan, or a Pacers fan there?
I
Because
would
we've seen all
say-
three cities.
probably growing up, I was a Celtics fan.
Really?
You know, Larry Bird.
Yeah, of course.
And those teams were so much fun to watch. Of course, you know, professional basketball was so different then. You know, I'm a Pacers fan. You know, I'm not as much as a Pacers fan as I am a Colts fan. But I hope they win, and I'm happy when they do. And
They've got the right colors.
they do have
I
the
give
right
them that.
colors. They do have the right colors.
Last thing, and you touched on this just a second ago about the Yankees and the rich tradition. But growing up, and our final question today, who was your idol growing up? Who gave you inspiration to be where you are when you were
You know,
in our shoes?
I've thought about that. Really, my strongest was my mom, and you know, probably a lot of people can say that, and hopefully everybody can say that. But I just remember how, you know, dedicated she was to whatever I wanted to do, and you know, she's passed away now, and I still miss her every day. So she was a huge inspiration, just the kind of person she was. You know, roll up your sleeves, get the job done. Didn't spend a lot of time wondering about why it happened or whose fault it was. Just was take care of business. Had to deal with some adversity in her life and handled it really well. So she was my major inspiration. And then another one, like probably again most of us, was one of my teachers. Actually, it was a choir teacher, which is funny because I can't sing.
Couldn't picture you
No,
as a
well,
choir student.
that's a good picture. But she was a teacher, and I think that she really reached out and made me feel special, made me feel valued, and gave me some confidence as a young student that, you know, to know that there was some things I had to offer. So, you know, like most people, one of my teachers and my mom. So,
Respectable.
Yeah.
Definitely respectable. Yeah, that's you're famous for the best answers on the show. I don't think you could have summed it up any better. But Principal Williams, that's all we have for today. A shorter edition, a February edition, short edition for a shorter month.
short month, yes.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in to the CHTV Principal Show. Check back here next month for another edition with the Carmel Girls Swim Team. And from all of us here at CHTV, stay classy, and we're signing off.